Hi, I'm Representative William Penterman, and today I'm here with Watertown Mayor Emily McFarland.
Thanks for coming today.
Alrighty. So today we're talking about shared revenue. So shared revenue is one of those things that we knew was going to be a problem. It's something that ever since the state income tax was implemented in 1911, our local municipalities have seen less and less and less shared revenue returned to the municipality specifically. So in this past budget, that was one of my number one priorities for my colleagues and I, is that how can we fix this going forward so that our municipalities can get their fair share. So here in Watertown, they've done a great job being very fiscally responsible and doing everything they can with what they've had. But like everyone else, the cost of everything has been going up. So Emily, could you tell me a little about what the need for shared revenue reform was in this budget?
I mean, I've been with the city for 10 years. In all of the budgets that I've been a part of, there was never one where we weren't talking about really substantial cuts just to make it work. I remember one year we were budgeting and we could only increase our budget $112,000. And that year we participated in ETF. And so for that year, the increase in health insurance premiums was more than that. So we had to, it's not really at that point a strategy of like, what can we do to grow and prosper? It's how do we literally make a budget balance when we can only increase so much and an expense is so much. So the entire time I've been in local government, shared revenue has been a problem, like you said. And so it was really profound this year and really impactful for us here in Watertown to be able to have the latitude to have conversations that allowed us to have some reform in shared revenue.
Mayor, what was one of the biggest changes that you experienced this budget cycle?
So I've been a part of 10 municipal budgets, and for the first time that I can remember anyway, as mayor, I presented a budget that didn't increase our property tax general fund levy at all. Our finance committee added just a tiny bit, like $60,000, but I was able to present to them a budget that didn't increase our general fund levy at all, which means we weren't asking more from our general fund for our taxpayers to support that. So we would not have been able to do that if we had not experienced the increase in shared revenue.
Talk through the teamwork overall that was needed to help get this happen.
Sure. I mean, I think one of the things that we did right this time, because prior to me being in local government, there were many chances at this. People tried and they would start and stop and start and stop. But I think the reason that this one worked so well, it was truly collaborative from the get-go. So it was the League of Municipalities, the Towns Association, the Counties Association, the legislature, governor's office, all from the get-go said, okay, we need to do something. What that something was is what really nurtured over many years. To be honest, I was on a work group where I was gone once a month, all day, meeting in the state to talk about how we could make a package like this go. But I think in addition to the partnerships we made, we started to talk about it in real ways. And you'd hear from our constituents about things that they want to see happen that we literally can't do. So in Watertown, we were just transparent and honest about our capacity to make the changes they were looking for and kind of correlate those to the limitations and the way shared revenue works. And I think those lived experiences, at least I hope, helped people in Madison understand and kind of take in a different way the impacts that the old formula and the old style and the old funding mechanism was having for us.
Absolutely. Because going forward now, shared revenue is going to be tied to the local to the state sales tax. So going forward, 1 penny on the dollar or 20% of the overall sales tax will then go to our local municipalities. So overall, every municipality will get at least a 10% increase this past budget. I think Watertown got about 27. Yes. That's excellent. And
connecting it to any type of index is really important, because otherwise we're just going to find ourselves in the same position years down the road. So I think that was a key point of this particular reform that allowed us to make sure that this work that we did would be able to carry well into the future. And it's allowed me to, our finance committee and I, and soon our full council, are talking about our union contracts with police and fire. Something that shared revenue cared a whole lot, and I know everyone cares a whole lot about, but there was pieces of this reform that dialed in on public safety. And this is the first time in 10 years we've been able to actually get us to a midpoint in those negotiations. Every couple of years you'd sit down at the bargaining table and they'd say, we're really here and we really should be here. And I would say, I don't disagree with you, but I literally don't have the capacity to get you to that middle point. We've firmed up our contracts with our police union, and it's a 2-year contract. And over those 2 years, they're getting a 15% adjustment to their wages, which is like unheard of. And it may seem ostentatious, but I can assure you it's not. It's just we're still one city below the middle, even doing that. But that at least allowed us finally to be able to invest the way that we needed to.
Absolutely, it's outstanding. Our law enforcement officers do so much for us, as do our firefighters as well. So I really appreciate all your efforts and your advocacy and all for you do for the city of Watertown. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.